Okay, hello everyone. So now this is maybe the 6th time of recording this lesson. So we're just going to pretend you are sitting in the front row. So once again, I'm reusing the notes because I've just done it so many times and I've run out of copies. So get your calculators out and let's look at how to do a regression line. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do is turn your plot on. So taking your calculator to turn your plot on, you are, let me just try to clear everything off. You're going to go second, y equals. And you get this stat plot menu, and you want to press enter to select it and press enter to turn it on. That's going to allow your calculator to actually graph the data points that you enter in. Okay, so to turn your plot on, second, y equals, turn on plot 1. Then you want to enter your data. So we've been given some data points here, some linear analysis. And we've got the year from 1980 to 2000. It's recorded every 2 years. We're recording the CO2 levels in parts per million. Okay, so in order to get this data into my calculator, I'm going to put it in a list. Your calculator by default will read list 1 as the X values and list 2 as the Y values. Okay, how do we get the data in? So to enter the data, so I'm just going to quit here. Just by the way, back here, you can see the defaults. X is list 1, and the Y value there is list 2. Okay, so quit. So to enter the data points, I go to this stat button right here, press stat, and then I want to press option 1, which is edit. Okay, then I would enter in all my data points here. So let me do it on this calculator. So I did stat, option 1, edit, and then if you have values already in your list, you'll want to get rid of them. So in order to do that, I'm going to use my arrow key, and I've highlighted the list 1. I'm going to press clear. When you press clear and enter, it takes all the values out of that list. Okay, so try that with list 2. I'm really having trouble getting this to be clear for you and not have it shining on the screen. Was this one maybe better? Yeah, marginally. Okay, so clear those off by putting your cursor up there and then press clear. And after pressing clear, you press enter, you can see everything disappears. Do not press delete when list is highlighted, or you will have to come see me and get me to fix your calculator. Okay, in list 1, I'm going to enter all those data points. 1980, enter. 1982, enter. And keep on going until you've got them all in. Okay, and then scroll over and do the same thing in list 2. Enter in all these data points. Then, when you go to your window and you try to graph it, you're not going to see anything unless you set your window up appropriately. So how do I set up my window? Well, remember your X values are recording all of this list. So I want my X values to go from 1980 to 2000. Actually, I'm going to go to 225 because I know I get asked later on for some points outside of that domain. And I'm going to leave my scalar at 2 because I'm recording every 2 years. The Y values, well, my lowest parts per million are 338.7. I'm just going to round down and go to 335. And you can see they go up, 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 up. The highest I have here is 369. I'm going to go up to 400. Okay, now when I press graph, I will see my data points. Hold on, I have done this more than once, and so I have other things entered here. So let me delete that, so it looks like your screen. Okay, so let me zoom that in for you, and you should be seeing your data points. Now, what we want to do is to get a regression line, a line of best fit. And in order to do that, I'm going to get my calculator to calculate it for me. So to do that, I need to go to my stat button. So right here, stat, press it, and it's going to give me some options. I want the calculate option, so scroll over, and then the option I want is a linear regression. So choose option 4, you'll see it flashing there. I have to press enter, and it will calculate my linear regression. That is, back here, if I were looking for my line of best fit, if you were doing this in your science class, you'd probably take your ruler and try to include the most data points, and then you'd go back and calculate your slope and y-intercept. Well, this is just a way of getting your calculator to do it for you. So once again, quit, I'll do it twice. You're pressing stat, you're scrolling over to calculate, option 4, your linear regression, press enter. Okay, so it's y equals ax plus b, there's your slope, there's your y-intercept. Okay, I'd like to graph that linear regression, but I don't want to have to copy that into my line there, my equation editor. So go to your equation editor, that is second y equals, sorry, that is just y equals, right there. And then in order to get it to your calculator to insert this for you, you're going to your variables menu, you're choosing statistics. So option 5, statistics, and now you're scrolling over. You want to graph your regression equation, option 1, and when I press that, it just went in to my equation editor. And when I press graph, you can see there is my line of best fit. Okay, so here are the instructions. You could also listen to them again. So first of all, turn on your stat plot. Second of all, enter your data. Third, set your window. Fourth, calculate your regression line. And fifth, graph it. Here's the instructions. Go to y equals, choose, press the variables button, choose option 5, stats, scroll over twice for equation, regression equation, and press enter. Okay, so now that I have that entered, then I can interpolate in between my data points. So my data was only given to me every 2 years. It's asking for the CO2 levels in 1987. Well, then I'm just going to put in an X value of 1987 and calculate it. I'm really sorry about that screen there. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to my calculate menu. So second trace gives me my calculate menu, option 1. What did my X value equal? My year was 1987. Press enter, and it's calculating the CO2 level for me, 349.113 if I'm rounding off to 3 decimal places, parts per million. And then in 2010, I would be putting in an X value of 2010 and getting a Y value of 384.49 parts per million. Okay, so just remember, I've said this to you in the past, when you're going between data points, it's called interpolating, and it's very accurate. When you're going beyond the values that you have in your table, you're extrapolating, and then this answer is only as good as your model. So it's very easy to make incorrect assumptions if you extrapolate too far. Okay, when will the CO2 level exceed 400 parts per million? Okay, so this is like, the X value is time. When you're trying to find X, it's given you the Y value. So to answer a question like that, you have to go back to your equation editor, enter Y2 is 400, and look for your intersection point. Okay, how do you find intersection? Reminder, second, trace to get your calculate menu. Option 5 is intersect. It's asking you, is this curve 1? Yes. Second curve? Yes. Yes. So I'm going to move my cursor pretty close to that intersection point and press enter, and it's found it for me. So when? In 2020.0827. So 2020, I guess a few days into 2020. So during the year 2020, I will have CO2 levels exceeding 400 parts per million. Okay, I will teach the rest of this in a different format. I just know that you needed to keep on seeing my screen there. Okay, so let's do a different video. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye. Oh my goodness. Turn this recording off. There we are.